So anyway, I just wanted to kind of bring everybody up to speed. Anybody that doesn't know exactly what we're trying to do with the Coastal Community Network, I was hoping to get that across in tonight's meeting. Now, we're going to hold a meeting once a month for the Coastal Community Network. Now, right now we have 42 subscribers, people that actually pay to be in the network. And some of you guys, of course, are on tonight, and I wanted to thank you guys for doing that and being on there. I kind of jumped the gun a little bit because when we launched the Coastal Community Network back in October 24th, I was hoping that would be a little bit past the COVID crisis situation. But between COVID and the election and kids not being able to go to school, people not being able to travel, work being kind of screwed up, I think I probably jumped the gun. If I was to do it all over again, if I could, read the future, I probably would have launched it just now. But when we launched the network, we had about 100 people show up to Miranda Farms for the big launch. And right after that, we started signing people up for the Coastal Community Network pretty aggressively, and it was pretty easy to get people to sign up right after that event. Then the election came, and a whole bunch of crap started happening, so I kind of left it alone for a little bit till after the New Year's, and kind of picking it up from here. So at 42 members, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people on tonight. I don't know if that's good or not. I was just glad anybody got on tonight. But let me explain exactly what the Coastal Community Network is. The Coastal Community Network is a media company. And what I mean by a media company, I don't mean like regular TV media. I'm talking about modern age media stuff that we've been doing for a long time and a lot of new stuff. So one of the things that we're going to produce at Coastal Community Network is videos, investigative reporting videos. As a matter of fact, we're going to do many different videos. The first video that we just uploaded this week, which I'm pretty fired up about, is an action video. And the reason we made that video, because if you're part of the Coastal Community Network and you want to try to explain to people exactly what it is, it's not the easiest thing to explain. You know what I mean? Because we're not a Captains for Clean Waters. We're not a Coastal Conservation Association. What we are is we are a media company, and we produce content. We produce content that's going to, what we're going to call content that counts. Content that's going to hopefully motivate people and change the way we're going about trying to save our water quality. Because so far what we have is like Captains for Clean Waters is doing a really good job as far as getting legislation and fighting for the water to flow south from Lake Okeechobee into the Everglades, and they're really into the Everglades. Here in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, we have these huge infrastructure issues, totally different than Captains for Clean Waters, even though the overall goal for better water, for better wildlife is there. So the Coastal Community Network, we're actually going to report and tell you all the good things that Captains for Clean Waters is doing. Okay, one of the nonprofits that we work with now, the American Water Security Project, now they're more into what our major concerns are here in Fort Lauderdale, which is sewage and infrastructure. So we'll be telling you and bringing you up to date on what the American Water Security Project is doing. And it's kind of like ESPN style media, but about the media that we want to push. Because if one thing that we haven't learned this year, I mean, media pushes everything. So if we expect to get anywhere with, the fight for clean water, we've got to have our own media channel, our own media company. So that's where I was hoping that CCN would really do well. Now, the first video we did on our YouTube channel, if you guys haven't seen that, it's a 3-minute video. And it basically tells people what the problems are. Okay, and we also been doing podcasts. We have the Real Guy podcast. It's been extremely effective. We get about 10,000 downloads a month, and we're growing. But the nice thing about podcasting is you can talk like this, and you can deliver the message. We've also been doing live online shows on Facebook and also Instagram. We'll start doing those on our new YouTube channel also. Also, we have a pretty comprehensive website for subscribers and members to join. And on that website, we have a news and events column that can constantly be changed so we can update that on a consistent basis. So we're moving along pretty well as far as the outline goes for the Coastal Community Network. What I want to do next on the website is I want to start a blog. Therefore, we can constantly get blog coverage. Blogs aren't for everybody, but people that blog, and it's pretty powerful. And I think with this type of media, it would be a good thing to do. So on the website, you're going to see the blog start popping up. And if you have something that you want on the blog or that you want to say on the blog, you let me know and you can write it and we'll make sure you get access to that. So content that counts, that's our slogan that I kind of came up with. And when there's a couple more people who want to come in, hold on. I admitted them. So content that counts is the slogan. And when I say content that counts, we're trying to make content that are multi-purpose. One, we want to unite a whole bunch of people like us. And one of the problems that I think the community's having is this whole uniting thing. Captains for Clean Water is focused on Captains for Clean Water's agenda. CCA's focused on their agenda. American Water Security Project is focused on their agenda. Now, the Miami Waterkeepers agenda is very similar to ours, but they're our neighboring county. So I think that it's important for us to unite all together. And what we're going to do with our content is we're going to educate, we're going to unite. We need to recruit massive numbers of people. One of the things that we did as a call to action last year is we had a protest after a major record-breaking sewage spills. And the protest really was effective. And what I mean by being effective is we actually saw some response from the mayor here and the commissioners that were running. Because they knew that a lot of people were emotional and they knew a lot of people were caught up and actually cared about the waterways, every single one of the candidates used the water as their topic this year in the election. Now, there was a lot of different factors and a whole bunch of different people putting pressure on them. But these calls to action where you unite lots of people. I mean, we had like one night during the city meetings is through social media, we got like 80 people to show up to the city meeting. And you could tell that the city was not used to having that type of participation. And it was extremely effective. So anyway, we want to make more calls to action, and we're going to use the coastal community media to teach people how to make these calls to action successful. It's all about narrative. I mean, if one thing that we haven't learned through media this year, I mean, between the COVID crisis and between the election and the crazy political stuff that's been going on, BLM, it's all about narrative. Now, I've been fortunate enough to get on different news networks. And when you get on the news networks, you're able to get a blast of exposure at one time. But it's not consistent exposure. And it's not the exposure that you want to, how do I say, motivate this movement that we're having. So the Coastal Community Network, through podcasts, through YouTube videos, through, of course, small social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we will have a constant feed of content. Now, what I'd like the Coastal Community Network to do is give every single one of our members the tools in order to help promote what we're going to call the movement. And when I say the movement is we got to get people to actually, do something like we did with the flow test. We had over, I'd call it about 80 boats show up and probably close to 200 or 300 people on land show up. The news covered that event. We also had a sign making event for that where the news showed up for that and we got coverage during the sign making event. But we had a little bit of momentum and we had a little bit of help from traditional media to push the topic or to push the movement. But COVID came and they totally dropped it. Now, Channel 10 just recently has been doing some stuff that I'm pretty proud of, and I think they're doing a great job of keeping the water quality issue on the table. Because it's not like the old days where conservation groups were like nutters, or conservation groups were, super special interest. Everyday people like you and me are now being affected by huge fish kills and horrible water. 40% of the water here in Fort Lauderdale is not even swimmable. We were fortunate enough through a little bit of, through a little bit of pressure to get the city of Fort Lauderdale to hire the Miami Waterkeepers to do weekly testing. The good thing about the weekly testing is it gives us a baseline for exactly how bad the water is, if it's getting better, if it's getting worse. But even more importantly for the Coastal Community Network, it gives us more information every single week that we can now spread. Now, on the YouTube site, not only are we going to produce videos like the one we just did, that's more of a professional style ad to promote our mission at CCN, but we're also going to do training videos. And what I mean by training videos is we're going to teach all of our members that would like to be active. So we got, I don't know, call it 42 paid subscribers right now. It fluctuates between like 42 and 55 because people can't keep their damn credit cards straight. If you saw the turnover rate in the memberships where people's credit cards fail or for whatever reasons, I don't know, it's about 10%. But anyway, I think this is a pretty decent number. Like with the old 80-20 rule when it comes to salespeople, 20% of the salespeople are doing 80% of the work and 80% of the salespeople are doing 20% of the work. But here at the Coastal Community Network, we understand that and we get that. So if I can get this type of percentage of people to actually participate, I'd call that pretty good. Now we're going to have a lot of people in the network that are too busy to participate. One of my buddies owns some McDonald's in town. He's crazy busy all the time. He's got 3 kids. I know John Calabrese that's on here tonight. He's a dad. He's got his hands full. So everybody has a capacity. So we want to be able to take everybody's capacity and then leverage off of it. The people that have more energy, more time, and have the passion that actually want to do stuff through our YouTube channel, we want to give them the tools to meet our goals. And make no mistake about it, our number one goal is to get a massive number of people involved. Because I watch the foundations that are out there now, and they have plenty of money, and they spend plenty of money. But could they get 100 people to show up at a protest? Maybe. How about 200? How about 300? We got to get like crazy amounts of people to put crazy amounts of pressure on the right people. Okay, now for me, I've been putting pressure on my local politicians, the mayor and the commissioners. Okay, everybody, no matter where you are, can do exactly what I'm doing. Come up with good proposals, come up with decent ideas, which will help you here at the Coastal Community Network, come up with those things, and then we'll help you present it to your local officials. But we can't stop there. So first we do city, then we do county. But we really need to make sure that the governor and the senators here understand that there's a new environmental movement going on. And I really believe that the Coastal Community Network Media Group can do that. But it was going to have to be a little bit different. It's about big numbers of people taking action. And that's going to be our focus and our goal at the Coastal Community Network. Now, I just want to tell you what I see here in the future. If we can keep growing memberships the way we're growing memberships, and we're going to teach people how to recruit their friends and how to spread the information, spread the mission, because it's not just like hardcore fishermen like that are in my social network. And we got moms We got Timothy Myers, who's from a paddle crew. These paddle crews are great. They enjoy the water just like we do. We got surfers. TJ's a surfer and a fisherman. I mean, we have to unite everybody that's concerned about the water. Teach them to become activists in a responsible and respectable way. Can you believe of all years to become an activist, this would be the year I'm going to become an activist with all the crazy shit going on. But I do believe that we know how to do this. See, we grew a huge social network and we got crazy participation from our social network. And how do we do that? The same way that I want to do it here with the Coastal Community Network is you touch them through media. So anyway, I also wanted to talk to you guys about the membership fee. It's $10 a month. It seems pretty inexpensive, but I really want it to be inexpensive because I don't want it to be, I don't want it to be hard for people to become a member or to support the cause. And I want it to be a monthly membership subscription base because the call to action never should stop. Every single month, we have to do things, whether it's releasing a new video, whether it's doing more podcasts, whether it's recruiting more people. But we have to instill energy upon people, a lot different than the foundations that have the same mission that we do. And I'll give you a good example of the Coastal Conservation Association. When they do a meeting here in Fort Lauderdale, attendance is low. There's not very many people, that show up to that thing. And then when they do show up to that thing, they don't get a whole lot from it because basically all of this is a fundraiser for them to do it again. So that type of association is not going to cut it. And we're going to have to get more aggressive. We're going to have to be heard. And I think the media that we can provide, the content that we can make at the Coastal Community Network will provide everybody with the tools in order to do that. So our number one goal right now is to grow the membership. The more we grow, the more funding we'll have. The more funding we have, we're going to spend the money ourselves making content and distributing content. Then as we distribute the content, we're going to do the social rallies and the calls of action. I want to do one here in Fort Lauderdale. As a matter of fact, Zach Routman is doing a waterway cleanup that I want to promote. And I'm not like really big into waterway cleanups because I feel like, I don't know. I just think that unless we get some real cleaning up, that it's kind of like pissing in the wind. But what is good about a waterway cleanup is that people would have the same passion and the same goals in mind, the same mission, will come together and get to know each other and unite. It's also a way that we can teach people exactly what the Coastal Community Network is doing. So I just want to thank you guys for spending a little bit of time tonight. I want to open it up for any type of questions that you guys have. And I will be doing more Zoom meetings. Every time I put out a new video or some new content, we'll do a Zoom meeting about that. Realize, push the Facebook page. If the people that you know are into Facebook, push them to the Coastal Community Network Facebook page, Instagram page. The podcast, the Real Guy Podcast, is something you can turn people on to. And I'm actually going to put all the podcasts that are environmentally focused in a playlist. And I also want to make a content library. Now, why do I make a content library? The reason I want to make a content library, which we have the content, it's pictures, audio, video, and articles. But the reason I want to make a content library is because the same way that I've been able to grow the Coastal Community Network, the same way we've been able to grow the Real Guy Network and our fishing stuff, is it's content that we can put online that our members feel comfortable sharing and promoting. So I'm going to make that same style of content, but it's going to be for the environmental movement. So anyway, I'm going to unmute everybody. And if you guys have any questions, I don't know. Hopefully, I do this thing right. This is my first Zoom meeting that I've actually hosted myself. I've been on a couple, but this is my first one I've actually gone on myself. So let me see if I can figure out a way to unmute everybody. Actually, if you got a question, just put it in chat and then I'll unmute you. You just want to say something. You just want to be nice to me. Anybody saying anything? Unmute. Let's see. Did I unmute you?
You hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Unmute. Unmute. I'm actually pretty fired up with the participation tonight.
Hey, is that for me?
That's, yeah. Who's that, John?
This is Johnny Calabrese. Hey, Jeff. So, you know, I think we're all huge fans of what you're trying to do here. That's why we're, you know, part of the program. I wanted to just ask a dumb question. Is there any, I know you're building everything, and I'm not sure exactly where you stand as far as the development of content yet. Is there content on the site yet that I can kind of highlight to people, something to watch or some topic?
Yes.
That's kind of a,
yes.
you know, point of reference for people.
Yes, we just go to the Coastal Community Network YouTube page, and we actually part of the money that you guys have been paying, and so far we got a professional video done that really delivers the problems that we're having. It's a 3-minute video, but we just uploaded it just this week. It's on the brand new Coastal Community Network YouTube page. So check out that video and let me know how you guys like it. We got a new guy, Lewis, working for the Coastal Community Network, and he's really good at making this style of video. And the next video I'm going to make is going to show the parts and pieces of the Coastal Community Network and exactly what we've been producing. And then, of course, we've been doing the podcast very consecutively. As a matter of fact, the best podcasts that we've done as far as the environmental movement just recently have been the ones with Rachel from the Miami Waterkeepers, because of all the crap that's been going on here and the tests that they're doing here in Fort Lauderdale.
Subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
Nice graphics, by the way. That's pretty professional work.
Thank you.
And basically, you know, my program is that I'll just be another, you know, crazy guy with a megaphone screaming at people online to tell them to get involved. And, you know, kind of like how I am in real life.
Yeah.
So what more can we be doing as members, you know, to get the word out on your behalf? Do you want just to direct people to, I mean, I know you wanted to raise funds, and obviously we're all on board with that to get more subscribership. But is there, like, do you prefer people going to the Facebook page or to the website itself? Like, what do you think is the best platform to direct people to get the most leverage out of engagement?
Well, I think the way we're going to make the content is I'm going to make different tools for everybody. The first tool will be that 3-minute video that's on YouTube. So for instance, say through Facebook or through Instagram, you posted a picture. Maybe you shared the dead manatee pictures that we put up this week, and you had somebody respond to you and say, man, that really bothers me. I can't believe that's happening here. You simply can say to them, have you seen the Coastal Community Network? And you can send them the link. Now they can simply watch the video and they can understand what the Coastal Community Network is. Then we're going to make constant videos, probably 1 or 2 a month, that are going to be tools. So now you have a recruiting video, then you will have training videos. Like, one of the things that none of the other foundations do, or none of the other guys do, is they don't simply ask their people to share their content. You know what I mean? Like, think about this, for instance. Every time we make a post on the Coastal Community Network Facebook page, If we could simply get 40 or 50 shares, we're doing 40 or 50% more than um, other foundations or other people that are into this movement. And if you don't ask your people to do it and tell your people to do it, they're not going to do it. But I'm just selling something just that simple. You know what I mean? The other thing that we're going to be doing with the money that's coming in, and right now we got a whopping, I don't know, call it $400 a month coming in. But since we have the new video, is we're going to have to spend money getting people to see that video. Now I'm kind of fired up because the last time I looked at the video page, we had 25 views. The cool thing about the 25 views is they all happened in the last 2 days because I just uploaded it. But we got 2 new members in the last 2 days. That makes me feel good. It makes me feel like the content, the video that they're watching actually motivated them to get involved. Anybody else? If I got you on mute, tell me because I got to get you off.
Yeah. Hey, this is Tim. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Tim.
Yeah. So I mean, I love what you're doing right now. I appreciate the invite tonight.
I'm glad you're here.
I struggle too with this idea of, as you said, it's you're kind of pissing into the wind, right? And you know, our group is in the water in more ways than we care to be sometimes. So
Right.
The idea of trying to figure out across the state and connect all that and raise the message, I think is great, because I don't think anybody's consistently doing that at all. Like you'd expect that from Florida professional media networks, and they're not doing that. So I love it. I just registered. So,
Awesome.
But the you know, I as you continue to grow, we've been kicking around, well, what are we going to do next now that, you know, water testing is in this area is at a level, right? So what's the next thing, right? And so my question after all of that setup is, I think the other thing that's missing is, as you said, how do we get people involved and vocal, right? Because the more vocal people we have, it's even in a lot of ways, it's less about the money and it's more about how many people are vocal, right? So
100%.
How do we help you get vocal people, right? Because I think that, you know, I'll post some things, and even my group, right? Like there's 40 paddlers and I send it out. I'm like, hey, you guys should post this, right? And they don't do it, right? So, so I think that visibility, like, what are your thoughts on visibility around the content you create, so that we can get more, you know, just more vocal people, right? Because that's what I think we need is more voices.
Excellent question, and I put some serious thought into that. What I'd like to do with the Coastal Community Network is I'd like to make a now, right now we're doing it virtually because of COVID and everything, but I'd like to make it where the most active and the most productive people in the Coastal Community Network get rewarded and put it on a pedestal. So you say, okay, Timmy Myers from the 954 Paddle Group. God, you've been so involved since day one, since we did the first protest. You know, he's really doing a good job. And we want to encourage people to be like him. And we want to basically reward them through some sort of accolade that I haven't made up yet. But when we do these social events, I'm just going to use you for example. Say you've done a great job at sharing everything and promoting and being very active in it. Well, when we do these social events, I want Timmy Myers to come up there, and I want to make a big deal, and I want to give an award, and I want to let him be the model. So I don't know if that answers your question exactly, but those are the types of things that I was thinking about. I was involved in a company called Prepaid Legal. I mean, I'm going back 20 years ago. Okay, and that company sold a legal policy that was, you know, very inexpensive. But what the company really did a good job is they were really aggressive at rewarding their associates. And I think the Coastal Community Network, we're going to figure out programs and ways to reward them to be active. Because one of the things, and I don't know if you listen to how many of the podcasts you listen to, but one of the questions that I always ask all these environmental experts and all these people that are into these big foundations is, how do you motivate people? And they struggle with it, and it's hard. But I think if you can teach people how to methodically be productive, motivation and confidence will grow. And I think we can help people as a community support one another by encouraging more and more of it. I don't know. It's going to be I mean, that's always the toughest thing, is to motivate people. But like I said, I mean, I would not have been, I wouldn't have gone home with my tail between my legs if only 3 people showed up on this Zoom call tonight. If I can get this ratio from now on, where I can get 10% of the people to actually do something, I think we're going to have to take it. Anyway, I hope that helped you, Timmy.
Yeah, it does. Appreciate it.
Anybody else?
I got a question, Jeff.
Go ahead.
So have you guys considered doing some sort of commercial like sponsorship opportunity? So going to like local businesses and having them promote you guys as well.
You mean basically sponsorship type stuff? Is that what you mean?
I don't know if like a sponsorship would be a good word for it, but just getting like, you know, widening the scope of people that are putting out the message, like, right? Because we're a small group right now. If we have, you know, say a restaurant or like LMR or just something where a lot of people travel through, and if they can just like mention it while checking out or something like that, just to get the word out there even faster.
Yeah. I mean, like right now, I don't have a whole heck of a lot, but I tell you what I have had is I've had people learn about the Coastal Community Network that have been following everything that we've been doing for the last couple of years with the environmental movement thing. And they got a lot of dough, and they're used to like the donation thing. So they call me up and they say, hey, Jeff, you know, let me know what I can do to help. And I thought about maybe having to start one of those 503Cs. Originally, I kind of wanted to do it the way Four Oceans is doing it as a regular company, because I wanted to give a job opportunity for the people that are really aggressive. I have it on paper, and I'm going to put it on video, and then of course I'll share it with everybody. But there's actually a way that you can, the way I have the membership, I have the executive, all the way down to the regular associate membership. Well, that executive membership, it's $149, and you get a hat and some shirts. But if there was a person that wanted to make money doing this, I could give him $100 to sign somebody up as an incentive. And I'd like to teach people through this content library on how I've been signing people up. And it's totally different than anything that I've ever done before, because I'll make a post of the stuff that's been happening, the sewage spills. And then when I make the post I'll get 20 people to comment. And out of those 20 people, I simply reach out to them and say, hey, take a look at this video, which would be the new 3-minute video that we just produced. And we'll have more videos, and let's call those tools. And we're just going to keep creating these tools, creating this content. And our slogan is content that counts. I don't know, I hope you guys like that. But I really think that if we produce content that counts, and we have a real system and format for people to grow the organization, I think it's going to put us in the position that we need to be. I also think it's the right time in this movement to do something like this, because all the other programs or these foundations that are into donors and are not really social. We are going to be very social. We've always been social. It's been successful. And that is the way media is going. And us being a media company, we're going to capitalize on that. I hope that helped. I hope that answered some of your questions. Also, I'm going to have to get paid Zoom account. 40 minutes. We can blow through 40 minutes like it's nothing. But if anybody has any other questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up, try to make these things not too crazy long.
When you say you're going to be a media company, I guess that means that you don't have any intentions to be like a 501c3 or some kind of charitable foundation.
Well, I think what's going to happen, I think we'll probably end up doing that because people, are starting to ask. And originally I wasn't thinking, that I was going to do it that way. But people are starting to ask, and I have a donation button, but we're not set up as a nonprofit. I go back and forth on that. So we could change that at any time.
That are on the fence, people that are on the fence, you
Right.
might just, get them to get out the checkbook because, they feel like they're getting a benefit in addition.
Yeah, and I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to it. I just wasn't thinking I was going to go down that road. But I tell you, some of the people that have reached out to me that want to give me money, they basically just want to donate it. And if it helps them and if it benefits them, then I already have the paperwork and the application for the 503c. And trust me when I tell you, if people really want to give us that kind of dough to do this stuff, then we'll move forward with that. And I'm going to be very aggressive, whatever it takes in order to be successful. I had a college coach tell me that one time. The context of that is crazy. It's probably on one of my podcasts. But anyway, whatever it takes in order to be successful. All right, guys. I really appreciate your time tonight. And this is, to me, it's exciting. It's crazy what gets me excited nowadays. But I really think that, this core group of people, this, I call it the 100 Club, the first 100 people that join the Coastal Community Network will always be what we call the 100 Club. And that's real grassroots movement of people that got in at the beginning. But I think just like we've done with fishing, I think we can make the social media work for us. I think we can make it cool and fashionable to be in this movement where we can get the moms, we can get the kids. But I really want to reach out to the surfers, the paddleboarders, the kayakers, all the different people that enjoy the water, because it's not just fishermen, which has always been my big thing. Anyway, guys, thanks for being on the first Zoom meeting. I was a little nervous at the beginning because I really wanted to go over well. And I'm really glad that you guys spent the time. Check out the new,
Thanks very much.
all right, check out the new video and let me know how you guys like it. Tell me what you think.
Thanks for doing everything you've been doing, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Hey, we're just getting started. Just getting started, guys. Thanks. Run that dog.
Yeah.
I'm ending this thing.